Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the transatlantic number Sf Op50 right-hand-AL. This is an Aldora style right-handed aluminum replacement pivot set, or not replacement, but a brand new, meaning new installation pivot set. And I've got all the pieces here on my desk. Let's go through them one at a time. So you've got the floor portion that's going to tuck obviously behind the frame as well, and then you have your door portion, and that is, because it's a right hand, going to look like this. You can see how your screw holes line up there. A right hand pivot point is here. My elbow will act as the hinges, and to you it looks, when you're viewing the video, it looks like a left hand reverse. But, you know, from this way, the door would just swing like this. It'd be a right hand if it was an in-swing, but generally outswing, naturally. So you've got your angle portion, then you've got your threshold style portion. You have the bottom door portion here. That spindle is here, and that's going to set just like that. Okay. You have your door portion at the top. Pardon me, I'm holding it upside down. Your door portion at the top, and then of course your frame portion. That'll make a nice, neat, clean look right there. Let's go over the, and of course all the fasteners that you would need. Let's go over the extended description, and then we're going to go over the dimensional properties of each piece. Aluminum entrance doors with a 3/4 inch offset pivot set. What that means is this. From the face of the door to the vertical axis of pivoting, that dimension is 3/4 inch. By far the most common offset that there is. And for aluminum doors, I've never really seen another one. If there is another one, well, you can have others, there's no doubt, but 3/4 is 99.9% of the time. Aldora style. The manufacturer, Aldora, they have their specific type of pivot hardware, and this is it. If you have an Aldora prep, it's likely this. Everything is made of aluminum. This is a clear anodized finish on all the aluminum pieces. It's also available in the DU finish for dark bronze. Pivots operate on full race ball bearings. That is a reference to what's happening down here in the bottom door portion. Nice, smooth, predictable, reliable operation. Complete with an 1/8 of an inch vertical adjustment. Loosen that set screw, and then you'll be able to get a small wrench on there, and that set screw is not loose, but you'll be able to turn that counterclockwise and draw the bottom spindle up 1/8 of an inch, okay, to give you a nice margin at the top. Okay, here, allow that to margin properly. They say that no possibility of door sag, since the entire weight of the door rests on the floor-mounted pivot. Yes, that's true of all pivots, really. And, you know, you've got Mother Earth bearing all the weight of everything above it, and that's a good design, very much so, especially for aluminum doors. Easy to install, that's certainly true, and we'll kind of touch on that in a moment. Durable, all-weather-proof acrylic coating protects the pivot from deterioration. I can't comment on that. I would just know this is anodized, clear anodized. They say that the top portion has a spring-loaded pivot. This is not spring-loaded. Oh, forgive me, it is. The set screw is just tightened down. So your installation would be that you would rotate that out. You know what, let's pause that video and demonstrate that. Let me get my Allen. So we're going to take a correction on that. That's not spring-loaded. That's just the bottom line. You would loosen that set screw so that you could pull the fixed top spindle down and out of the way, and then get your door tipped into place, and that would be how your installation would be. Set it down on the bottom pivot, tip it in place after you've drawn this down, and then push it back up and tighten your set screw. That's the proper operation of this material. When the door is in the locked position, these pivots are completely burglar proof. I'm less inclined to believe that as I can get to that spindle that's here. I do have indeed that drawn out there, that set screw, and sure enough, you know, you're able to remove that. You know, the bottom line is You loosen the set screw, the top pin comes out. That's just the bottom line. So take that information for what it's worth. And let's move on. So we've got the top portion here. And then, of course, the header portion is going to be right here. I had said earlier you get screws for everything. Indeed you do. You're going to get the large hex cap screws that you see here. And they're going to go in, obviously, into the hollow tube of the aluminum door and through that inner wall and right into the tapped holes that are behind both of these pieces. You're going to get the flathead screws that you're going to use in the rabbet of the frame to go into these three, what appear to be initially unusual configuration. It's just, you're going to run those screws in like a thread cutting sort of fashion. That will hold that secure. And of course you're going to get your screws for the rest of the installation as well. Let's put the tape measure on these pieces so that it will help you determine if this is the proper item. Starting at the bottom, width of the floor plate, about 1 5/8 inches. Overall length, 4.5. Thickness, over here, about 1/2 inch. Okay, so it's going to be 1/2 inch. We can kind of judge what that spindle is going to look like when it's at its minimum, 1 inch. Moving our way up, the door portion on the bottom, the width, about 1 3/8 inches. The height, 1 3/4 inches. And you can study at the same time where those screw holes fall to the center. And of course they're going to be in the center of the item in the width. Projection, 1 5/16 inches. Moving up the door to the top door portion, overall height, 1 3/8 inches. And again, you can study where those screw holes are. Okay, and now the width, again in the center, got about 1 5/16 inches. Projection, again 1 5/16 inches. The spindle is really going to come out about 1/2 inch, and that's certainly appropriate to get into the next piece, which is the header portion. Overall, about 2 9/16. Thickness on the exterior portion, including the plastic shim that's here, 3/4 inch. Width of the portion that gets inserted into the frame, 1 inch. Thickness of it alone is about just heavy on 1/2 inch. Okay. From the tip of the item, from the tip of it, you can see where those screw preparations are going to fall in at about 1 13/16 inches, and then down here to about 2 5/16. Okay. And that concludes looking at all the dimensional properties of the item. I've looked at Aldora, their company, their published data, and I'm impressed. We don't get into aluminum storefront material in terms of doors and frames, at least not at this time. But I'm impressed with how well their material appears to come together. I would certainly, if I was going to install aluminum doors and frames, I would take a long look at Aldora. Their pivot hardware is certainly very popular. We sell a lot of it, which just simply tells me that it's out in the field an awful lot when you're replacing and selling pivots. Not that they're replaced more than others because maybe they're less substantial or robust, but just, you know, I don't hear stories of people saying, oh, this Aldora stuff is terrible, it doesn't work or last. I don't really hear that. There is a link below this video to a document called Instructions, and that's really more appropriately called catalog or product brochure. There really are no instructions beyond what we've already gone through. And then finally, there's a link below this video to a document called, to the manufacturer's page, where you can view all of the transatlantic items that we sell, and then also their full line catalog. What you need to know about transatlantic is this. If you are looking for very good quality, very moderately priced, dependable and predictable performance, they're someone that you should consider. In the realm of hinges, door closers, exit devices, and lock sets, for moderately priced, where you're going to apply the material in a common tenant build-out application, not going to be abusive, and is going to take a good use as well, will be able to handle some use. Transatlantic's a great option. My family's been selling their material for decades, and I've become reliant on the good, neat, petite footprint of material that they sell. They figured out what they can do, and they do it very well, is the bottom line. If you have any questions on the transatlantic Sf Op50Rh Aldora style aluminum pivot or any other transatlantic product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.